Welcome to today's episode of the Arcade Talk Show, the show curated, created, and crafted by life, for life, from life. The show where energy meets curiosity and Gen Z takes the mic. Today, we have got two amazing students with us, Rishit Amita Shetty and Sara Nimisha Rahul Jariwala. Both of them have scored more than 90% in SSC and ICSC boards respectively. Rishit is someone who believes in hard working and staying consistent. He is preparing for JEE, and when he takes a break from studies, he loves playing tabla and exploring different activities that keep him creative and balanced. Sara is confident, focused, and full of energy. She always been active in yoga and dance. Now, in college, she is also a part of marketing team, sharing ideas and connecting with people through her creativity. In this episode, Sara and Rishit opens up their journey as students, how they manage studies, handle pressure, and keep their motivation high. They'll be sharing their tips, tricks, and real life experiences to inspire other students who are walking the same path. Welcome to my show. Apart from mathematics and science, there's a topic called history. And history, there's a most important subject called civics, a part of that thing. Was civics anytime bore for you?
No. I had a very, very good teacher. She was a little strict, but if you actually put in that effort and got good marks, she was okay with it. She would not let us leave the classroom until and unless we gave the orals for a certain chapter or certain part of the chapter. So she wouldn't let us leave until and unless we could give those orals.
Because being 20 marks, probably students never, in fact, civic sense is all about. Civics makes the entire nation very strong. When we talk about the coming up generation who is going to learn civics ideally should be more than 100 marks. But we are considering for 20 marks. But in that 20 marks, mostly people just ignore that thing because 20 mark का आएगा, चलो कैसे भी कुछ भी करके लिख देंगे, 8-10 तो हम निकाल ही लेंगे, बाकी का हम बाकी के चैप्टर से कवर अप करेंगे. How about you? How did you manage your civics?
Civics actually, it is still pretty boring because administrative laws that it sort of makes you boring. However, I had a very brilliant history and civics teacher. He was also for geography. He taught the subject pretty well. Like he would make it interesting, read, and I became one of his, I would say, best students. He actually is pretty special for me because way before even I knew I would score 90, I had given a paper and you could say my tutorials. I had solved that paper pretty well and I got 39 out of 40. I didn't think it as a special achievement because I had not scored exceptionally well in the other chapters, other subjects, sorry. But this is actually a true story, he went and showed it to the other teachers and he said that this kid will score 90. He did not tell me this at all. I found out very later when I was having a chat with him that he predicted that he will score 90. He will go over 90. He'll be special.
Very
Nice. At that time, I also did not believe this.
So that means teachers are also playing a very important role in nurturing the generation. What do you think? In the coaching classes, you mentioned someone's name, the sir's name, who taught you about certain story concept of bugging up certain things. How about school teaching? How do you remember any school teacher who really played a very important role?
Yeah, I think my class teacher played an important role because she gave us a book which she had used for her own son during his 10th preparation. So then in those were written important, like you could say, formulas or objectives that had come in previous year question papers and a whole book. It literally, I remember we had gone to the printer and it was easily 300 pages. And if you studied that fully, you were bound to score 90. There was no way you couldn't. It had a lot of hard formulas, questions that you didn't expect would come. All of those I ran through them, studied them. So that proved to be also pretty useful.
Pretty well. And how about you?
My geography teacher, she was my 8th grade ka class teacher and then she became 10th grade ka geography subject teacher. So she made us do a lot of topography maps. Every week we used to solve 2 topography maps approximately. So we thought ki yaar, it's a very boring chapter, like we don't want to do, what will we do looking at a map, right? But her entire purpose was that topography comes in your question papers for 10 marks indefinitely. It is there. Other theory part, you may be thinking कि अच्छा ये question आएगा नहीं आएगा, you are very unsure about it. But if you're sure that this question is coming, it is in the paper pattern itself, then why not ace those 10 marks? At least you will be sure that हाँ ठीक है, वो 10 mark तो मेरे है ही है. Then theory, okay, you are thinking कि ये question आएगा नहीं आएगा, but at least those 10 marks are mine, मतलब mine.
So geography and civic, that is history, is part of syllabus. You both have had your own individual teachers who played a very important role. Though these subjects, since I was in school till date, I've never seen people talking about history and geography with that pride. I have scored so much of mark, but that means teachers are really playing a very important role in even creating an interest in subjects like civics and geography. But that's really hats off to the teachers and the fraternity, whoever is in that particular zone of teaching. Coming back to your entire journey of November and December and Jan, when Jan ended and Feb came, were you having butterflies in your stomach?
Yeah.
Obviously, I think everyone would have butterflies in the stomach.
You had?
Yes.
Yeah.
And ऐसे कभी हुआ कि आपको नींद ही नहीं आ रहा है, बहुत प्रेशर आ रहा है अभी?
नहीं, मुझे नींद ही आता था पूरा टाइम.
So when we are talking about December, Jan, now Feb arrives, okay? आपकी एग्जाम मेरे ख्याल से कुछ 15-20 फरवरी के आसपास होगी, right? 24th Feb, and yours was 16th Feb. Okay, so Feb का first day, you definitely might be getting some nightmares, थोड़ा सा nervousness होगा. आप बोल रहे थे कि आपको नींद आता था बिकॉज आप उतना पढ़ते थे इसलिए आपको
नहीं,
नींद
मैं
आता
सोती थी तो भी मुझे मेरे दिमाग में सिर्फ रिवीजन ही होता था.
ओके. आपके केस में क्या हुआ?
No, I didn't revision nahi tha. It was more like trying to rewind. Like, okay, you have done a lot of work, you put tiring effort. At the end of the day, I would like take the phone for a while to chat with my friends, play some games. That was like the only time I got throughout the day. So then
Okay.
I used that trick. If you see at the end of the day, you will in the middle of the studies, if you see the problem, after mein tea dekhenge, when you get distracted, I should not watch tea because it will distract you. You will keep thinking of that movie over and over again, even while studying. So see at the end of the day, because at the end of the day you have to sleep and you have to get up tomorrow morning, and you won't exactly sit and recollect. It's like a new rewind, restart button. So then that trick really helped a lot.
Okay. So when the exams का एक हफ्ते पहले या 2 हफ्ते पहले का जब टाइम आया, तब you disconnected with the social world, the technology
Yes.
world, or you are still hooked up on the Insta, the YouTube and the games and everything? You
Just
really?
Instagram, not YouTube. And
Okay,
reels.
only Insta. How about
YouTube
you?
only for video
Referring some
lectures.
videos. Okay.
I actually don't use Instagram because I had once gone to create a Instagram account to chat with one of my favorite YouTubers. कुछ तो error हुआ वो website में. I entered my Gmail ID. I clicked yes. It was saying error. Something that happened. So I reloaded the tab, and when I click on it again, it says sorry, your account has already been created. And I don't know its password. Somehow I don't know क्या हुआ. But I could not create an account ever again. And so I actually don't. I'm not on Instagram, Facebook. I'm like a very, you would say. Not
Okay, so during exams you never hooked up on any social
not at
media
all.
thing?
No.
Okay, so how about your friends used to call you up for any revision, for any उसको ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है?
Yeah.
तो
Even I used to call people कि please ये वाला सम किया है तो फिर समझा दो ऐसे.
so वो आपको entertain करते थे?
Yeah, of course, because they were also going through the same thing, right? So if I sent for maths, if I'm not understanding a particular sum and I'm feeling shy to like contact my teachers at that time of the night, even though our English and maths and actually all our teachers, when their subject exams were there, they had a 24-hour helpline number. You can call it any time of the day, even at 3 at night. because certain students have that pattern of studying at night. Certain have the pattern of waking up early in the morning. So they
So
have
this helpline was by your coaching classes?
yes. We used to directly talk to them only. And I myself tried it for English. I had the best English teachers in the world, Vikram sir and Kripa ma'am. And they were active for 2 days because literature and language were consecutively after each other. First language, then literature. So they were like actually up for an entire week almost, just so that they can help all of us. So even if you call them 3 at night, they're fresh as anything and they'll answer your question with as much enthusiasm as they have just woken up early in the morning.
Wow.
So that ways they were very, very, very supportive.
And in your case?
I'm not exactly sure. I did not call up teachers much.
You never called up your
friends.
friends?
Friends. Yeah, you could say I didn't have that many friends. I'm not like a social person. But I had one friend. He helped me out pretty much in maths का जो hard problem set का sums, which is I think 3 to 4 sums. I think around that, and he helped me out with those sums. Actually,
Did you ever got any calls from your friends?
No.
For
I mean,
clarification?
no, you cannot say that because
No.
see, at that time I was improving myself. You for getting calls from a friend, you must be improved. You need to be that good.
In that position to answer.
Yes, and people should also know you are that good. That is one more thing. And so, as I've told you, the main thing was improving, not competing. I think.
So your schedule as per the November, December, January, you guys never planned as such कि आज इतने घंटे में ये चैप्टर करना है, इतने घंटे में वो चैप्टर करना है,
That
उसके
target
हिसाब
was
से
set
आपने.
just before that day.
Okay.
So that because we had tests in our classes, so even if I set the schedule for the entire week, and if impromptu test comes up, then I have to study for that test, and then it hampers the entire schedule only. So it's better to plan before a day, but you should plan so that you have some target.
Okay, and the day when your exams, आपको जो हॉल टिकट आया, ठीक है, हॉल टिकट में आपका सेंटर आया होगा, आपका टिकट नंबर आया होगा, आपका सीट नंबर आया होगा, वो टाइम का फीलिंग कैसे था जब ये हॉल टिकट देखा तभी?
It was actually a little comforting because ICSE board just started that you have to appear for your exam within your school with your friends.
Oh.
So it was not like a completely unfamiliar environment I'm entering into. It was just my school's basement with all my friends sitting beside me. Just the examiners were from different schools. So I had that much comfort.
And in your case?
While I did not have my friend sitting with me, I had the same school coincidentally. See, it is not determined that it's going to be the same school. But thank God I had the same school because I would be pretty worried in any other school. The classrooms which I have gone to, sat in. So that was actually, you could say, an advantage in some way.
Okay. And at the time of exams, your parents used to come. You said your parents used to come and drop you. How about your
Both my parents.
Both
actually,
used to come.
Both used to come, and we would arrive. Actually, you could say 15 minutes before the enter into exam. So if the exam is at 1 o'clock, and the entrance used to be at 12:30. 12:15, I would be at the gate of the school, and I would be studying all the concepts. I would be eating, you could say, a protein bar, something like that. And then I would be studying, running through all the concepts, nervous. Literally, I still remember the feeling. You feel thirsty. You feel there's something wrong with the system. You're just panicking, but you are keeping it together, stitching it and keeping it together. Then I would enter the gate. My mom would walk me to the gate and say bye, everything. And then I would enter the center alone in the hall. And then I would go up. I would sit down, and then I would start to rethink everything. हाँ ये किया क्या वो किया क्या, and then for 30 minutes sitting in panic, and then finally the bell would ring and the papers would be distributed, and then you would see the paper. Yeah.
So paper जब distribute होते थे तभी आपके कभी हाथ कांपे पेपर लेते वक्त?
नहीं.
Question paper लेते वक्त कभी
Yeah, that
कांपे?
was actually in the first paper it was a problem because बहुत हाथ कांप रहे थे, and yet still I managed to maintain that neat handwriting, and that was pretty.
And I think your chemistry question paper arrived.
I was very scared about that because I thought that मैंने prepare तो किया है. Now I don't know because this is the final exam. have to attempt the topics because I was sure I was not going to take science. So I was like, this is the last exam. Like उसके पहले के all the exams you were like, okay यहाँ पे मेरा mark जा रहा है, यहाँ पे जा रहा है. But this exam was final. बस एक ही mark जाना चाहिए. That should be your aim. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा. But of course 87 में तो थोड़ा हो गया. But whatever that is, that was the feeling कि you don't have to lose any marks.
Okay. While making your, I'll ask you this question. While preparing your answer sheet, did you focused more on the content of explaining the answer, or you also had the presentation done?
I'd say a mix of both presentation and content, because both will determine how much marks you get. You need to make a combination of both in equal balance, really, so that you can score marks. Especially, you could say one example of this was in English. In English, I actually saw a lot of videos about toppers who had scored like, I guess, 76, 75 out of 80. Total, you could say that's 95%. 96%, how they had presented it. So there was one trick about one girl who had scored that high. She was a rank holder. She had drawn lines in the paper. So that actually is pretty useful, because then you can write a question. So you have to write a question in a line they've provided. Then you have to write the sub question and then the answer down there. So that helped. Also, neat handwriting is pretty important. I actually would, before the English, Hindi and Marathi papers, I would sit and take out prelim papers and write it like that in that timing. Initially I used to write in the notebook, but then I took the same paper. The timing would start, you have to write the name, everything exactly the same, paste the sticker sub, so that you get the feel of how the exam is going to be. Then I went on writing. Actually, in all the three languages paper, one thing was common, that finally I would write a lot, grammar mess up, and then I would look at the time in my watch and oh my god, there's only 1 hour left, I gotta write so much, and then conversation stuff, then I would write it. The funny thing is that despite having only like 10 minutes left for the final essays of the three languages, I wrote all of them pretty good. I ended up scoring 95 in English, which is a big...
So, be it history, geography, civic, or mathematics, or any subject, you had that
line,
factors
yes.
of ruling on the
Yes.
two side of the answer sheet,
Yes.
and then you start putting up the answer one,
Yes.
the sub question ka number, and then you used to start writing the answers, right?
So yeah, the correctors, the moderators, everything. If you score above 90 in a paper, it goes to moderators who check very strictly, cancel marks. That actually, I still get nightmares of who are the moderators before the results are arrived. Will they have mercy on my soul? It's something like that. I used to always get that thought. So to the moderators, it should seem like three elements. Number one, you have written just enough. That. Number two, you know the concept. You know it actually. And number three is your presentation. If you don't lack any of the three elements, then it will lead to a loss in marks. No matter what you really do, it will lead to a loss in marks.
So first thing you said, you need to know the concept.
Yes.
Second, you need to have presented.
And third is that you need to balance. You cannot write too much also, you can't write too less also. So based on how much marks...
So for example, for 3 marks ka question, you need to write a particular format. You cannot write 2 fullscapes, bhar ke
for a 3 mark question, you should write 6 points. You should, every mark clear 2 points.
Yeah,
that should be the rule exactly. So if there's a 3 mark question, maybe half a page at max, half a page you should go. If it goes
but that half a page should have content.
Yeah.
Right?
It should have content.
And in your case?
Yeah, same. I think your answers should be satisfactory and look appealing to the eyes, because the teachers, the correctors, they have so many papers to go through, right? So they don't read each and every line very carefully. So you need to have good presentation to attract their eyes. And for essays, I would say your start and ending should be very good. Like use very good vocabulary. Use as many idioms or phrases you can. Think of essays which can come or which have come in the past years, and try to make a kind of introduction and ending for your essay. A good introduction and ending, because a lot of examiners, they just read the start and the end. They don't read the 2 paragraphs in between. They just check the grammar. So
Okay.
it's better to have like the start of the paper and the end of the essay like really well, so that they think कि हाँ ठीक है अच्छे से लिखा है.
And in mathematics?
In mathematics, you should always leave a line after every step so that it appears clearly to the eye. And while you are practicing, I just learned it in 11th. I wish I could have learned it earlier. I use 3 pens. First, I write the question in blue pen, the answer in black pen, and the final formula which I have used, or the bracket for the formula. I either write it with green pen or with red pen, whatever is available. So you use 3 pens and leave a line after every step. Then it's clear for you to revise and understand.
But then green and red pens are allowed in the
for practice,
Acha.
not for papers.
During
papers
practice.
तो एक ही
Pen से
color
लिखना है.
I was gonna say that papers can't look colorful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I understood that. So while doing this practice, what was the reason behind putting it in this pen and that pen?
So that you can clearly see ki, because maths is very jumbled up. A lot of people write very unclearly, so you don't understand ki what part is the formula. Everything has brackets, right? So you don't understand sometimes ki what part is the formula, what is the actual answer, what is the question, so you don't get it clearly. And after every question you should leave 2 lines for the next question.
Okay, so during practice you should always have your couple of colors with you so that you understand what formula you are going to put, where you're going to do your rough calculations, where you're going to apply the steps, the consecutive steps. And when you think that अरे ये इतना मैंने सब कर दिया, last moment पे कुछ तो गड़बड़ हो गया, तो you used to cut the entire thing or again you used to do it, or just उतना ही step को cut करके वापस करते?
If I've made it like 1 or 2 steps prior to the actual realization that I've made a mistake, I used to take a pencil and just strike it off just once and then write and continue from where I am. If I made a mistake copying the question only, then of course I have to rewrite the entire.
Okay, so while cancelling, when you used to cancel certain things, you used to use a pencil or pen?
Pencil.
Only one strike, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And in your case?
I would not use multicolor pens to practice. I just use either black pen or blue pen. Final exam I would use black pen. For cancellation, just draw one line over the part that has gone wrong. Don't cancel the whole sum because that will lead to a huge waste of time.
Now, apart from mathematics needs a lot of logics to be applied,
Yes,
and
yes.
your brain is completely, it needs to run through that journey. But when we come and talk about the subjects which holds a lot of contents, like history, like geography, like other subjects, there are probably 20 chapters, there might be 25 chapters. So did you have anything in mind where you thought कि नहीं ये 25 चैप्टर में से सिर्फ मैं 10 ही चैप्टर अच्छे करूँगी, या मैं 20 ही चैप्टर अच्छे करूँगी, 5 में इतना अच्छे से नहीं करूँगी?
For ICSE, you had a paper pattern, and in the civics as well as history part, you had like in history, I think you used to have 7 questions, out of which 4 you had to attempt, and 2 from civics out of 3. And those divisions were already provided by ICSE की question 1 में first 3 chapters से ही question पूछेंगे, question 2 में next 3 chapters से. So we knew that I have to attempt 4 questions, so these chapters I need to be thorough with. Other chapters I had practiced in my classes, but my teacher only said that you need to be thorough with the chapters that you are actually going to attempt. Other chapters you only have to study for MCQs, that's it.
Okay, so the application of marks were already given to ICSE
Yes.
कि इतने chapters में से focus करना है, इतने chapters को कम focus करना है?
No, like all chapters you have to focus, but they had given divisions ki section B, which is the section C, which is the history part, first question में first 3 chapters से question, second question में next 3 chapters, third question में, like they had bundles of chapters that they had given us.
Okay.
So you can decide which chapters you have to study and which question you have to attempt.
Oh, so that is a format of
Yeah,
ICSE.
because a lot of my friends, they faced a difficulty in studying the chapters World War. They couldn't like by heart it because it had difficult terms and everything, difficult English to learn. So they thought that why not attempt those chapters and attempt other chapters.
Okay, so for example, if there were 18 chapters, then three chapters were bundled up with the optional questions. So you can option for first, you can option for third, you can option for fifth, whatever. So that is how, and in SSC format, it applies the same thing.
No, it's not like that. In SSC format, they will directly give which chapter, how much marks, weightage will come. They would not say about which question, which chapter, like she said, important. However, our sirs used to tell that
Okay.
this chapter has MCQs. This is going to be a lot of MCQ oriented. So you study this. Also, our history sir from our tuition, he used to mark a lot of the pointers, you could say, right? In the chapter, they are not going to put from the back questions. That has become old now. You are going to get anything throughout the chapters, and that was actually a big shock that came suddenly. So then he would give those markings, everything. We only used to mark and think, which point, ye probably this will be important. And after he solved so many like previous year questions, he realized that yes, this point is repeated so many times, you gotta do it. It might lead to a problem if you don't.
Okay. Now, coming to the conclusion of our conversation, where you had to write a lot, and then you were confident while moving out of that examination hall. During the last tenure of your exams, that is अभी 2 ही पेपर बाकी हैं, अभी 1 ही पेपर बाकी है, the last पेपर के टाइम पे कभी आपको ऐसे फील हो गया अभी पढ़ने का क्यों कंटाला आ रहा है, कल से तो अभी छुट्टी है?
Actually, my second last exam was chemistry only. So I had to deal with it only. But my last was biology and I was good in biology. But I expected to score 98, 99 or 100 and I scored 96 only.
Only?
I didn't
My
know.
God. That's very great style of being very humble. So out of 100, you scored 96.
I actually think
You have eaten a biology, yeah.
I actually think 96 was the highest I scored in science, really. Problem, State Board is pretty lenient to checking. You are not going to get a question through until it is written perfectly. So then the scope of scoring marks is pretty less. So then I guess that's a balance for the chapters being, matlab, you have to mostly do like practice a lot. Or those you could say balances the whole thing out.
So as I was asking her that during the last question paper, अभी कल से तो मैं free हो जाने वाला हूँ, तो कभी वो कंटाला आया पढ़ने के लिए कि नहीं यार अभी बोर हो गया अभी
I used to feel like that, but then my mom used to say that last paper, don't mess up in this paper, it'll be costly. Actually, the thing was that I had written all my papers well except for geometry. Geometry में क्या हुआ? I knew all the questions, everything, but I ran out of time and ended up losing like 5 marks, and that led to a panic. It was like, you could say, it was a big problem. So now this increase, my focus went to an all-time high to improve the marks, to compensate in chapters where I may go wrong. So science and maths, actually I did not take it that much. So I think that I will compensate with, I will do some in maths, I'll compensate with the algebra sub, but this new sudden development, you could say, led to like panic a lot. So then I began to even practice harder than usual, study the paper, and my mom used to make an observation like ये paper इतना gap में आया, that means this is going to be hard paper, so study well for it. And for some reason it actually turned out. And finally in the question paper, especially science, I didn't know a few questions, so I had to sit and apply my own mind. Like it's beyond the book, you have to apply your own mind. For example, space stations, there was gonna be a question on GSLV, and it came PSLV, GSLV. Now I'm not that great at that. So then I thought later this PSLV क्या है? Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. GSLV is going to be geosynchronous. So this is going to be the one that is geosynchronous. And then you think of amalgam metals. There are a lot of examples like this where I had to apply my own mind. If I just studied like a robot and went, it wouldn't have worked at that time. So yeah, papers that came after a gap, those were the ones you had to focus the most on because they were going to be hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you said, I think you left some 5 marks of geometry in your board exams. ऐसे कुछ आपके साथ हुआ था?
हाँ, language में हुआ था. It was my first paper and I was completely prepared for language because I was the most confident in English only. And what happened was the examiners who came for the exam, they messed up in distributing the sheets. So my section, we had two sections, level 1 and level 2. I was in level 2. So that this mishap happened in level 2. So all our papers were taken back, and we got only 5 minutes of reading time out of 10. And in language paper, you need to like see all the grammar part and solve it in your mind itself, the prepositions, tenses, do as directed, so that finally when you get the answer sheet, you just have to note it down. And I didn't have the time to actually find answers for those questions, so it took more time in finding the answers than copying it and everything. So my essay, I will say this aloud on camera, my essay, I only wrote half my essay. Only half. There was no ending to my essay. But I think that's why I lost 5 to 6 marks in essay. Or else I would have scored 90 plus in English language, but I got 89.
In English too?
Language, yeah.
Language. Okay. So that's a very exciting journey of you both. I'm really excited. I could feel that pressure, and I could feel that excitement, that thrill, and composing yourself in that particular cocoon of नहीं भाई अभी तो एग्जाम देना ही पड़ेगा, अगर अभी नहीं तो कभी नहीं. Apart from this, what happened when you gave your last paper?
Last paper.
3 बज गए आपकी, मतलब आपका कितने बजे? 10 बजे का पेपर था?
नहीं, 1 बजे.
एक से 4?
एक नहीं, 3.
1 से 3.
2 घंटा.
2 घंटे का. सो जब आपके 3 बज गए, घंटी बज गई, आपने लास्ट पेपर दिया, आपका फीलिंग कैसे था?
It was last paper का starting में only I decided I'm going to write, this is geography and I have an advantage in geography, history, geography. So I'm going to write this paper so brilliantly, like I'll do everything well in this paper. It was pretty easy for me. It was like a walk in the park. It was so easy. I got bored of literally इतना easy कैसे रह सकता है. And then I finished the paper like 20 minutes early and I put my head down, slept and waited till the time got over. After that, we friends had a gathering, like that's easy.
And आपके केस में क्या हुआ?
I think when the warning bell for the last 10 minutes rang na, I was so happy कि finally खत्म हो रहा है. After this, I'll have 2 months where I won't have to study at all.
I'm not going to be answerable to anyone.
Exactly.
Also,
so
I remember one thing from this. My younger brother, he told that when you write the last word, remember the last word. The end of school itself, this will depend on the last word. Now I don't remember it. I told him.
That's really
deep.
Very deep. So I'm really happy that I could, get an opportunity to call you on my show and also live the 10th standard for that particular 1 hour duration. I'm also very glad that the kind of teachers, parents, your friends have played a very important role. So anything which you think that you could have done better in your exam or in your preparation, which छूट गया मेरे हाथ से, मैं ये कर सकती थी?
I think I should have realized that I have to study chemistry at an earlier point of the year so that I could have more time to polish my way of writing.
And in your case?
I think I should have started maths earlier and probably looked at Hindi also a lot, because it would have been pretty useful still to get Hindi also on my side. Yes.
Okay. Any message you would like to give to your fellow generation who are now in 10th standard?
I think they dread a lot to study कि यार पूरा दिन you only have to study and study, but I think the only target you should have, the only thing you should think about to study is like कि you only have this 1 year. And after that, you're done with it. You don't have to touch the subjects in which you're not interested in, be it science or be it languages or anything. You don't have to go through that process. So, like you said, like those 100 days are the last 100 days. Utilize it well and then you'll be done with it. And once you're done with it, you're just free of it. And for languages especially, you should study, like you should read books. At least, even if you're not a big reader, try to read newspapers or articles. It will improve your vocabulary in whichever language you are not good at, be it English, Hindi, Marathi, whatever. It helps you grasp those words or you can use in your essay. Maybe not the entire story, but
those
few
terminologies,
words.
those words will
And
play
at
important
the
role.
like, I used it in my exams. I used to always pray to God before my exams. Uh, be it whatever God you want, you believe in, from whichever religion you may be, just pray to the power because it helps a lot. You think that, okay, I don't have my friends beside me while writing the paper, I don't have my teachers nor my parents, but there's someone guiding me through the
The
paper.
guiding path.
Yeah. So that's very important too.
That's so deep. And in your case, you would like to give any message?
If I have to go in terms of the subjects, practice languages, they are going to be very, very important. If you have to do it from the starting itself. If you don't practice languages, it could lead to a huge loss in marks because out of 500 mark में से 500 में से 300 is going to be languages only. Also focus on maths, practice it very well. It's going to be very helpful if maths is strong. One more advice I'd like to give in apart from subjects is that number one, self-study. Self-study is pretty important. You can take help, but you should study on your own. Don't exactly think that manage kar lenge. Ego can be really damaging in the end. A lot of people, I actually know a lot of people who were toppers, but then they came down actually.
उनको लगा कि हम कर लेंगे.
हाँ, कर लेंगे, exactly.
Last day है, हम
And
कर
as she
लेंगे.
said already, you must pray to God. Keep faith in God. In the end, I used to actually go to the temple and I would put coins. Like every day, whatever money I got rickshaw से वापस आता था, the chutta used to put in the temple, pray to God. The temple ka priest also began to know me a little well. Till the end, after the exam finished, I put coins. A day before the result, I put coins. A day after the result, I put. So basically, keep faith in your God. It's going to be pretty helpful.
Before
Very,
like
very
all
nice.
my subject exams, there was this one shlok of because I'm a Krishna bhakt. I used to chant that shlok 3 times before my exams. Because my school is a little spiritual, we were called an hour earlier just to meditate before the exams, clear our head, so that we can write properly. So during that time, I used to recite that shlok in my mind 3 times, and it helped a lot.
What was that slow?
It was Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranatah Kleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namah.
Beautiful.
I also had a shloka I used to recite not maybe before the exam and while going to bed about 50 times. It is Jai Ma Ashapura. Just say that.
What was that?
Jai Ma Ashapura. She.
Jai Ma Ashapura.
Yes.
Okay.
Say that, and I guess
So that is what you used to believe.
Yeah, I used to do that.
So this element of
Spirituality
was your school's contribution or your parents' contribution, or you just learned it?
I think both. The meditation part was from my school sides and from my parents and my entire family, even my grandparents and my uncle. They actually taught me a lot about Indian mythology in 9th grade, the entire Ramayana and Mahabharata and everything. So it made me very interested in that. So that's why I started having a lot of faith in God after that.
I had a lot of faith in God because a lot of people around me had a faith in God. My
South
grandmother,
Indian.
everything. She felt that I will be able to do it. She's one of the few who still believes at the end. So then I used to also keep a faith in God. I know Rama and Mahabharata already since a long time I've known it. It's not a new thing. But basically, if you keep the faith in God, then you believe that somehow it will go through. There's always going to be a plan. Yeah.
You have ever tried doing meditation?
Yes, I've done meditation. I took classes specifically for that. School did not encourage much. In 4th standard, I'd done it, but 4th standard, 10th standard is a long distance. So I used to do meditation. It actually calmed me down. And I really needed to be calmed down at that time.
Okay. Now, as you have scored 95.6 in ICSE board and you have scored 92.6 in SSE board,
Yes.
don't you think it's a responsibility going forward?
Yeah, it's a
It
big
is.
responsibility.
People start to have expectations from us.
So now you live up with the expectations as a responsibility, or you say it's a cakewalk यार अभी तो यहाँ तक आए इसके आगे भी हम कर लेंगे.
No, I think it's a little bit of a pressure that no, I shouldn't be overconfident. ठीक है ये achieve हो गया, but I had to put in the effort.
But that's not the end of life.
Yeah, exactly. So after our 11th grade, we have our 12th grade coming up, and I think integrated JEE you are doing.
Yes, JEE.
So JEE is a very competitive exams to go through, and I have my 12th board. and after that I'll be having my entrance exam for whichever degree I will think of pursuing. So it's a very big deal, and people have that expectations ki, oh my god, he or she is a very topper student, then this should be easy for them, but they need to realize it's not easy. We
Yes.
also have to put in that
JEE is a
effort.
whole different ball game in itself. I actually did not expect it, but 10th was very easy compared to JEE because JEE has everything that makes it hard. Firstly, it is really hard to hai, but there are a lot of people, like easily 14 lakh people giving JEE, and in order to get the top one, you need to be at least in the top 1000. So I actually found it pretty hard at the first. Initially, I thought it was going to be easy, like a cakewalk, but then I found it hard. And now marks sometimes it's up down up down, so then now I'm starting, now I'm building myself, like readying myself for the whole process, because JEE is different. It's very different from 10th. You need to be both smart, or if you're not smart, you need to overcompensate with your hard work way more than 10th. Like if I studied 13 hours in 10th towards the end, here every day, even before JEE comes, I need to study easily 13, 14, 16 hours if I want to get AIR top 1000. So
Any specific food you used to prefer during preparation of exams or during the exam?
I think while we used to go to classes, I used to have a lot of outside food, but by the end, I used to have homemade food only, because I couldn't risk having junk food and then getting sick during the exams, because then that would affect the way I study, right? So I couldn't risk it.
So you always plan for your homemade food during the exam
Yeah.
times. And in your case, I'm sure it
homemade.
was the same.
Homemade, yes, obviously, because you cannot risk getting ill. Actually, I got stomach problems, and I also got ear problems. So then I cannot risk anything going wrong at this point. And my dad also believed that. So my mom used to cook homemade food only, so that no problem happen. Your immunity is strong. That is very important.
So immunity के लिए आप लोगों ने अपना घर का ही खाना चूज किया.
At least by the end, you should.
Yes,
You should
by the end
risk.
you should.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is really a fantastic session today. One of the best podcasts I have shot in last 1 year's time, where I'm really privileged. I'm proud to share the dice with the upcoming generation who have completed their 90+% in their respective boards of SSC and ICSE. Sara, Jariwala and Hrishit Shetty, they both have exemplary done their journey from 70% to 90+% in the span of 2 months, 3 months time. So the journey was all about being spiritual. Journey was all about eating homemade food. Journey was all about staying focused, being consistent, and abhi nahi to kabhi nahi. So that was the thing which they were doing consistently. Definitely post June उन्होंने किया ही होगा, but अक्टूबर के बाद उनको ये रियलाइज़ हुआ कि यार अगर मैं 70s में हूँ तो मुझे 90s में लाने के लिए क्या करना होगा, और उन्होंने हर वो चीज़ किया. आज के टॉपिक का मकसद यही है कि आने वाली जनरेशन जो 10th स्टैंडर्ड में है और आज से वो पढ़ाई के लिए शुरुआत कर रहे हैं, तो डेफिनेटली इट इज़ पॉसिबल टू स्केल अप दैट 20-25% जो आप पीछे हो वो आप आगे आ सकते हो. सो डेफिनेटली अगर इन्होंने 70 से 90 तक का जर्नी किया है, ये सेम कंटेंट्स अगर हम अपने रोज़मर्रा की लाइफ में फॉर नेक्स्ट 100 डेज अगर हम डालें तो डेफिनेटली हम एटलीस्ट 20-25% का स्केल अप कर सकते हैं with all those formulas, with all those experiences and all those mantras which these kids have really given us. I'm really glad that we are sharing this dice today. And upcoming exams के लिए मैं सारे बच्चों को और सारे पेरेंट्स को और सारे टीचर्स को all the best देना चाहूँगा, because ये जनरेशन को right from civics से लेके मैथमेटिक्स तक नर्चर करने का जिम्मेदारी सिर्फ पेरेंट्स का और टीचर्स का नहीं है, तो वो इकोसिस्टम का है. And thanks a lot to those teachers where the students have mentioned that these teachers have created and changed their life towards that particular subject. भले उन्हें वो पसंद था या पसंद नहीं था, उनको वो पर्टिकुलर चीज़ के लिए इन्वोक किया गया कि ये सब्जेक्ट बहुत सुंदर हो सकता है या वो सुंदर है. So thank you very much for coming on to my show, Sarah. I'm glad that and Hrishit, I'm glad we met some months back, and during the festival I could see that spark in your eyes. And आपके तो numbers मेरे को पता ही थे. I know this girl since she was in cattle. हम साथ में इसके पापा के साथ बड़े हुए हैं, हमारी जर्नी हमारी साथ में हुई है. तो बहुत अच्छा लगा आप लोगों के साथ मैं जर्नी कर रहा हूँ. आप लोगों को मेरे को कन्विंस करना पड़ा कि आप आओ मेरे शो पे, ताकि आपको किसी को ज्ञान नहीं देना था, और आप लोगों ने किसी को ज्ञान नहीं दिया. आपने सिर्फ वो बताया जो आपको आपके फ़ायदे के लिए था, आपने उससे फ़ायदा उठाया. So thank you very much for coming on to my show. I'm really glad, and I'm sure this show is going to be liked by many of the audiences. Thank you so much.